Hi, my name's Paul Grogan, and in this gaming rules video I'm going to be telling you about box inserts from a company called Folded Space, who commissioned me to create this video. Many gamers these days like to enhance their game with box inserts, and there's a number of different options available to you. A number of companies create wooden box inserts, which do look really nice, but they can be quite expensive and a bit heavy. Some people like to make their own inserts out of foam core. I made one for Kanban a couple of years ago and it took me about 3 evenings work, so I never did any more. Folded Space offers another solution, approximately half the price of the wooden inserts and half the weight. And they're not just made from standard foam core. Instead, they are an EVA memory foam with an outer covering of printed card to add rigidity. This kind of foam means that if it's slightly deformed, it will return to its original shape. Folded Space started in 2017 and has run 2 successful Kickstarter campaigns previously. The third campaign starts on December 15th, 2018. The main difference between the campaigns is that new products are offered each time, expanding the range of game titles. This is done via Kickstarter for 2 main reasons. The first is the setup cost to add a new product to the range is quite high, with the new molds, prototype preparation, etc. But secondly, the feedback from the backers during the campaign allows the Folded Space team to adjust their products to better suit your needs. What I'm going to be doing in this video is I am going to be putting together a box insert for one of my favourite games, Feast for Odin, which is a beast of a game, and we'll see how it goes. What I'm actually going to be doing is I've not opened this yet, so I'm going to be opening this and putting it together, following the instructions, just to show you how easy it is. So off we go. Let's have a look, first of all, at what my box is like before. Now, I've not opened this for about 6 months or so, so it's probably a bit of a mess. I've got the Christmas promo tiles in there and got all the rules. And now I'm a big fan of Ziploc bags, so I've got everything all in the Ziploc bags there that it comes in. Yeah, so right, well, let's put that to one side for now, because what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be getting the insert out of the box. There we go. Right, so this is what it comes in. They're normally 4 or 6 sheets. This one is 4. So here we go. So we have the instructions. Don't lose these. Really important. And in fact, not only is this the instructions of how to put it together, but there's also some suggestions of what goes in which trays. So it's recommended that you put this in the bottom of your game box after you've put it together. Okay, now here are the sheets. So this is a 4-sheet one. I've done a few which are 4 sheets, and I've done a few which are 6 sheets. So we look at the instructions, and it says here this comes in 4 sheets. 2 are identical to the other 2. After assembly, the trays are put into 2 layers in the original games box, like that. Ordinary PVA glue is required. So here's a few things that you're gonna need to put it together. I have got some PVA glue. I'm going to apply it with a brush. Make sure you don't use a brush that you want to use for painting afterwards. This is not a brush I'm going to be using for painting. Although PVA glue is water soluble and it will clean afterwards, it's not something that I want to use a nice brush for. I'm going to use this tray to put the PVA glue on, and yeah, let's see how we get on. So what it recommends you do first is to actually dry put them together. So don't use the glue to start with, is to actually just go through the instructions and have a bit of a practice of putting them together. And then once you've done that, you can then go ahead and do it with glue. Because otherwise, if you're going to make a little bit of a mistake, then obviously if you've glued it, then that's a bit of a problem. So let's go on to the instructions, and we're going to do, first of all, trays 1A, 1B, 1C and 1D, which are all identical. So I need these 2 sheets. I think it's these 2 sheets. Yep, it's these 2 sheets. So we're going to put those to one side for now. So I need these 2 sheets. And the first thing that I want to tell you about is the die cutting of these. A lot of things like this, and even components for games, when you get them, in order for the bit in the middle to stay fixed in, it has to have little connectors, be it cardboard or wood or whatever. This doesn't have them. Because of the way that the EVA foam it is, once this is die cut, and it is die cut all the way around, this stays in there. So this is not coming loose whatsoever. But all you need to do is pop it out And there you go. There's no connectors whatsoever. So it all just pops out really easily. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pop out all 4 of these now. If I've put a few of these together, so I've got quite a bit of experience with it. But if you are doing one for the first time, I would suggest making sure you don't get the pieces mixed up, because you might end up getting yourselves into a bit of a mess. Right, okay. So what I'm going to do is, I mean, you can see how it goes together already. To be honest, follow the instructions, but once you've done a couple, I put one together last night and I ended up not following the instructions once I was halfway through, because I didn't need to, because it's so intuitive how you put it together. Once you've done a couple, there you go. That's it. So I know I said I wasn't going to do the glue yet, and I'm going to dry put these together. Shall I do the glue? No, let's dry put them together. Let's just, there you go. So now you might think, oh, do I need the glue? Because actually these have gone together quite well and they're quite sturdy as they are. But I would still recommend using the glue because, you know, that one's a bit loose, for example. So they are intended that you do use the glue, but they do stay together quite nicely without it, just so that you can get an idea of how it goes together. Right, well, that's those 4. I'll glue them in a minute. Let's put them to one side. What's next? Tray 2A and 2B. So it's on the same sheet, right? And this, here we go. Let's pop that out. Let's pop that out as well. This is very, very similar. So nothing new here, just more side bits and then the front and the back. There you go. They're just slightly different shape. Yep, slightly different shape. So I'll need to remember that these are 2A and 2B. All right. Next, what have we got next? We've got 3A and 3B. Right, now, something slightly different on this one. This one uses a centerpiece. So again, pop that one out. And that's the end of that sheet. We don't need that sheet anymore. So that can go. Let's pop this one out as well. There you go. Right, so this one has the main bits on the sides, but then we have a cross piece that goes in the middle as well. He says, is it going to go in? Yep, there you go. Right, so cross piece that goes in as well. And the same again on this one. There you go. Right, so that's those 2. Right, next is the other sheet of the paper. What have we got on here? So the top 2 bits of this sheet, which is this one. Okay, so that's that one. And also, oh, I'm saving the best till last. Tray 5A looks a little bit more complicated than these other ones. These are all fairly simple, as you can see. So what have we got here? Again, I'm not going to look at the instructions for this one because it's just that. There you go. That's that one. And there you go, that's that one. Right, so what's next? The exciting bit. So this one, let's make a bit more space. This one is a little bit more complicated. So it's using all of the rest of the bits. So they punch out relatively easily. These bits are surplus to requirements, which is a shame because they're quite cute. And I'm going to have a look at the instructions for this one. So, because I've not done one like this before. So it's suggesting that I put those 2 bits together and they go in the middle like that. Okay, and then the other 2 bits go together and they go there like that. So this is definitely going to need some glue on this one. Step 3 is these side bits. Don't think it matters which way it goes. No, it's symmetrical. So that goes on there like that. That goes on there like that. Okay, and then the side bit's on. Okay, so that wasn't that complicated after all. And there we go. So that is all of the bits put together without glue. What I'm now going to do is I am going to glue I'm going to glue this one first, and I'll do this on camera. I'm going to glue all of them, but I'm not going to film me gluing all of them. I just want to show you how I put them together with the glue. So what I'm going to do is get my glue, squeeze a bit onto there. Come on. There we go. Now PVA glue, for those who haven't used it, it's wood glue. So if you're going to your DIY store and they can't find PVA glue, then, I mean, this doesn't say PVA glue on it. This says wood adhesive. Somebody will probably tell me in the comments that I shouldn't be using this and I should be using PVA glue instead. I don't really know the difference between them, but yeah, PVA glue or wood adhesive is fine. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to stick these together. As I say, it dries clear, so it doesn't really matter if some of it squeezes out of the edges, which it always does when I'm putting it together. And I shouldn't be doing this on my nice game topper board. I should be doing this on a piece of paper, just in case. Because I did one downstairs last night. Last night I put together the Mysterium insert, gluing it, so taking it out of the cardboard box, gluing it and putting it all together in 2/3 of an episode of Doctor Who. So yeah, that's how long it takes to put one together. And you saw how quick it was for me to put this one together. Right, so how am I going to glue this? I think I'm going to glue this with little, let's put it there. I'm going to put a dot on there and a dot on there. And I'm going to put that there and that there. Right, okay. So now the side bits. Now as I say, I've done a few of these, so I've learned, I think the best way of doing them is to put a bit on there. And again, don't be too sparing with it. Put a blob on because it's going to need to attach. And I'm also going to put a blob there and there. And if it does ooze out the side, it's absolutely fine because it dries clear. So that's how I'm going to do it. Oh, there's that bit as well. I forgot it's attaching to the middle. So I'm going to put a blob on there too. And then that should slide in like that. Yeah, so you can see there is where it's oozed out the side. So I'm not that bothered about that. I might go over it later with a wet brush and just tidy it up a bit if I want to, but you don't need to. So a few blobs on there, a few blobs on there, and then blob on there, blob on there, and that goes on there. Okay, right, and the end bits, yeah, they just slot in there. So again, I'm just deciding where I'm going to put the glue. So I'm going to put a bit of glue on there. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to put glue on these 4 bits here. There and there. Need a bit more on there. Yeah. Bit on there. Oops. And a bit on there as well. Okay, and then that should just slot into there. There we go. I'm going to wipe that bit off with my fingers now while I can. Okay, and on this side, I'm going to put the glue just on here. And there you go. Right, so that goes on there. That goes on there. And that is it. So I'm going to wipe off a bit of the glue. And then what I'm going to do, you just rub your hands together to get rid of the PVA glue that's on there, because it is a bit sticky, but it does just rub off. So what I'm doing now is I'm just sort of pushing it together to make sure it's all tight and in the right place. And that looks good. So I'm just going to tidy up the mess that I made a bit. So yeah, as you can see, it does kind of rub off. And then if I'm bothered about it, what I can do is if I had some water, which I don't have any water handy, I should have got some water, is just with a wet brush and just go at it on the inside like this around those edges just to get rid of those excess bits there. But there's that one. I am going to do the rest of them now, and then in the next part of the video I'll show you putting it all in the box. Welcome to part 2 of the video where I put everything inside the box. So what I've done is everything was left to dry, which didn't take too long. Then I've put everything in the box. Now I've not used the exact system that it tells me to. For example, it tells me to put the coins in one of them, but I like keeping the coins in the tray. So I've not done it exactly as per the setup instructions, but I am now going to put everything in the box. So basically the 2 trays go in the bottom, and then some of the bits go around the outside. Then you put the boards on here. So the player boards go on there, and then these boards go on there. What doesn't go on are the islands, because we're going to need them in a minute. So then everything else just slots in. So this goes in here, this goes in here. The 2 little trays go in the middle here, like so. Then these go along here. The player trays go here, like this. The resources go here, and you'll see this is why I've kept the islands free. The islands go in there, like so. Now, what then goes on top is the rule book, and what I would recommend you do is, once you've got the box lid on, is get one of these elastic band things, because, let's see if I can work out how you get this on. I have got this on before. Because basically, if you're carrying it around, what you need to do is you need to make sure that the box doesn't open at all. Because if it does, then things will start coming loose in the boxes. So by getting one of these, there you go, that keeps it all together. So basically it can rattle around, you can tip it upright and everything else, and it will stay. It'll all stay in one place. So I've got some before and after pictures of some other ones that I've done. So this is the Mysterium one, which takes on both of the expansions for Mysterium. I've only got one of them in here. So that's the Mysterium one. Then I've got one for 7 Wonders. And again, this takes Cities, Leaders, and the Tower of Babel expansion. I've only got the Leaders expansion, so there's a couple of empty compartments in here, but that's that one. And then one for Great Western Trail that also takes the Rails to the North expansion, which again, I don't have at the moment. So that's why there's a couple of empty trays, but that's the one for Great Western Trail. So there we go, just a short video explaining what the folded space range of box inserts is. Basically telling you how to put one together, how to glue it together, and then a sample of how it all goes in the box and how you store it. So if you're interested in what you see, then check out the 3rd Kickstarter campaign, which starts on December 15th, 2018. I'll put a link in the show notes below. And their previous catalogue is also available on their website, foldedspace.net. So thank you very much for watching. I hope you found it useful. Take care, and I'll see you next time.